Hello. Thank you for listening to and watching You at Options. This episode, I have Sean Huber from the band Steady Hands. Very good band. You may also know him from celebritybirthdays.com. Very, very well-known website. Number 11 most popular drummer born in New Jersey. Tough to beat that. Great talk with Sean. We discuss Steady Hands. They put out a 2-song EP called At Minor Street a couple months ago. Very good. Check it out. They also put out a full length last year called Cheap Fiction, which is also very good. We discussed Sean's professional life. Work. He's currently working in a historical prison. It's not an active prison. He's running bars out of the prison, and he's getting scared by the workers there during their haunted Halloween experience. We also discuss his marathon running. We discuss his touring, the life of a touring musician. Great talk with Sean. Really enjoyed it. Go check out Steady Hands. They're going to be at Fest this weekend. They also have some tour dates around Fest. Atlanta, Nashville, other places. Just go follow them on Instagram at Steady Hands Social Club. Just Google Steady Hands tour dates. He's also in the very good Pogues tribute artist tribute group called Bardust, based out of Philadelphia. So if you are in that area and you see that they have a show, Bardust has a show, go to it. Just a great talk. Good hangs. Make sure you go follow You at Options, at You at Options everywhere. Rate, whatever, numbers don't really matter, but rate, comment, all that stuff if you enjoy the episodes. Thank you so much for listening and watching. Hope you enjoy. Okay, we are recording now. Sean. Hey, thanks for joining me, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm hanging in.
Yeah, we had some technical issues. I'm glad we were able to kind of sort through it.
The live guests were on the edge of their seats.
Oh yeah, the people for the people who enjoy the program,
yes.
They've been waiting. But you're up in Philly, right?
Yeah.
How long you been in Philly?
It's been about 15 years.
Damn.
So came here. I grew up in North Jersey, kind of near like Newark. And I came here for college and stuck around, and I'm getting kind of hitting that edge where I've been in Philadelphia more than I spent time growing up in Jersey. So.
Can I say a funny thing? I was just to get ready for this. I was just Googling you, and you realize you were on famousbirthdays.com.
I did not.
Okay.
Did they have it right?
Let me see. Well, that's something I wanted to go through this rundown and see what is true and what is false. Let me see. I can share my screen with you, I think.
Do they have my net worth?
No, we can look up famous people net worth if you want. Hold on. This one. Here we go. I'm sharing. So for the viewer, they'll be able to see this. So
you're showing me the screen right now.
Yeah. So famousbirthdays.com. Sean Huber. Huber.
Well,
Huber.
It's Huber. It's I always pronounce it Huber. My family pronounces it Huber.
Okay.
It should be Huber.
What is that? Was that French?
It's German. I'm not very German at all. The name just kind of like trickled down the family line.
The trickle down German name, Okay, so let's March 8th. Is that the real birthday?
That is it.
Pisces, yeah. Birthplace, New Jersey.
Yep.
Okay. 33, yeah.
Yeah.
Famous for modern baseball, emo band, sophomore album. Wait, band sophomore 2004. You're gonna miss it all. Verona. Is that
That's
true?
true. That is true.
Wow. We got this fun trivia question. He was interviewed about drumming by Run for Cover for their YouTube series Drum Talk.
It's true.
Family Life. Is this?
Yeah, I don't know how they populated that. That's weird.
Mm-hmm. And I don't, I don't want to, numbers are just numbers, Sean. We don't care. We don't care about numbers around here. But most popular, 114,000. But Pisces drummers were coming in at 35, which ain't too bad.
Yeah. I don't know
Last
why
name?
the astrological science wrapped up into this.
I don't know. Yeah, that's interesting. Last name Huber, 6. So we're doing pretty damn good there.
In my family, or
I think it's famous Hubers. So Adam Huber, number 1. Don't know this gentleman.
no.
Rayan Huber, TikToker. Not sure if this gentleman either. Caitlin Huber, YouTube star. Not sure. Sasha Huber, again, not sure. Chuck Huber.
Okay.
Don't know this guy. Voice actor. And then we got, the real big dog coming in at number 6. Old Sean. Yeah, this is just a weird fucking website. Drummers born in Jersey, 11. That's pretty good. Yeah, but then I also you're a member of the 33-year-olds with Travis Scott. You're a drummer with old Travis Barker, and then Sean Kingston.
Nice.
Yeah, man. So you're doing pretty good.
It's funny. I was in a group of people, and it was like kind of an icebreaker thing. They were asking everybody's astrological sign. And I don't follow that. I'm not into that. Cool if you're into the woo-woo shit.
Sure.
I frankly, I find it funny that most of the people I hang out with are atheists, but they're super into this.
Yeah. We can touch on that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I said I believed I was a Pisces, and this group of people who I barely just met all just started laughing. I'm like, you barely fucking know me, and you're already like that checks out or something.
Sean's a Pisces. Oh, you didn't have to tell me, Sean.
Yeah,
I could have snuffed that out. Yeah, it's okay. I guess we're gonna get into the nitty gritty here
cool.
Early on. So, did you grow up Catholic?
I did, yes.
Yeah, just listening to your songs, especially the Steady Hand songs. I was like, okay, yeah. It's like I'm not. I have a buddy who's in recovery. And, in that world, there's a bunch of sayings, but one of my favorite sayings that he ever taught me that has stuck with me is, if you spot it, you got it. And so myself growing up Catholic as well, I'll hear people's songs. I'll be like, oh, you're Catholic. You grew up Catholic. I already know.
I did. It was not like a super, super strict family.
Yeah.
But it was part of the culture. More so, I went to Catholic school all the way until high school. And my first job was actually at the church rectory.
Okay.
Because the rectory, they could hire you. In New Jersey, the working age is 14. So aside from doing mowing lawns and stuff before 14, you could work at the rectory just kind of as a secretary at age 12.
Okay.
And the rectory is where the priests live.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was in the 90s, so we all know what was happening right now.
Right. Yeah.
And I was fortunate. They were plenty nice to me, and it was a fine, underpaying job.
Sure.
That was definitely illegal.
Right. Yeah.
But it was a very strange time to be aware of all that. Old enough to be aware of all that happening and hanging out there alone.
Yeah. Same. We're of similar age. I'm not on the famousbirthdays.com, but I'm 35, and so growing up, I grew up in Mobile, Alabama, and That's the archdiocese of, uh, I guess Alabama. I forgot if like each state has an archdiocese or if, whatever, how that works out. But anyways, a lot of Catholics down there. Yeah, it was, if you watch, was it Spotlight? Was that movie?
Yeah, about the Boston Globe.
Yeah, and then at the end it shows like all the cities and like all the parishes that had that stuff going on.
Yeah,
Mobile was in there and had a bunch of them. So yeah,
it's pretty terrible, and it follows you too because where I live now, the neighborhood in Philadelphia, I'm actually right next to a famous seminary, and it's been sold off because there's not many people
sure
becoming priests anymore. Luckily,
right,
but
yeah.
Up until recently, literally a couple of weeks ago, there was on the corner about a block away from my street, there was just this massive, like 80-foot cross. There's this big white cross on the premises, and it's super weighted because in the 1970s, Pope John Paul came to visit the city of Philadelphia.
Okay.
And the mayor at the time, who has been very thankfully had some statues torn down of him, Mr. Frank Rizzo, who's the chief of police, become mayor, I believe. He was in law enforcement, but he decided to use taxpayer money to build this cross for John Paul II.
Oh, to be like, hey John, we got this big ass cross. What do you think about that?
It's a Catholic city.
Yeah.
And then the ACLU, rightfully so, sued the city.
Nice.
And it was all wrapped up in controversy, and it ended up living the rest of its life at the seminary. So every day when I go out for a run or leave the house, I got to see this 80-foot cross just staring down at me.
Ah, dude. Yeah. That shit's wild. Yeah, I had a similar, like, we were also like, my parents were Catholic, and they thought it was the right thing to do was to bring us up in the church, and it wasn't. It's like, sounds like yours, where we weren't praying the rosary every day or any weird shit like that. We would just go to mass on Sundays and maybe go to Sunday school or whatever when we were real little.
Sure.
But yeah, it's strange, and it's hearing people's music or their art or whatever and being like, okay, I can relate to this. I know what's up. It's fun.
I guess.
Yeah. It's terrible. I don't know. Religion's weird, and like, to go back to the star signs or symbols. I have a lot of friends also who are very much into astrology. I'm like, this is just a different version, of the weird, like.
Well, but it is. I mean, and it's funny because they're obviously, I can't knock the positive community aspects of these types of things, and
sure,
and frankly, a very necessary thing in parts of this country where other services are not provided. But
yeah,
I've read a fair bit about the Satanic Temple,
right?
And they're a funny organization because, like, a lot of people who get involved, they find that they're like, well, yeah, we're involved, and like, they have a lot of, that organization has a lot of motives,
sure,
whether it be kind of trolling, right, or just, fighting for separation of church and state. These people are like, oh, we have kids, and like, I mean, since we spend so much time with these people, we like sometimes babysit each other's kids, and then we like, meet together in the park on Sundays, and they just end up building this community, and they're like, oh, we ended up with the thing that you get from this, that is the one positive.
Yeah, the good, the community aspect. That is, that's,
no, how did we accidentally do this?
Right. Well, it's, it's just a tale as old as time. People that have all the power and, are gonna be fucking weirdos and creeps, and unchecked power, especially, is like not good. Come to find out. Yeah. But yeah, it's fun. I haven't watched the there's that documentary about them putting up the Baphomet statue.
Hail Satan.
Yeah, Hail Satan. Have you watched that?
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. But we were talking beforehand. about your new job. Can we talk about that some?
Yeah, yeah. So I recently I've been working for a brewery in Philly. It's kind of what I've been doing for the last few years. In terms of a day job, I've been working for breweries, and
Yeah.
this one it's pretty cool, progressive certified B Corp brewery. And because of the nature of their work, they partnered up with another, I guess it's organization or nonprofit. I don't know their exact status in Philly, which is the Eastern State Penitentiary. And this is a penitentiary built in 1822. It's the oldest penitentiary in the country. It's based off actually Kilmainham Gaol, which is in Dublin.
Okay.
Prison there. The leaders of the 1916 rebellion were actually murdered there.
Okay.
So it's just super wrapped in history, and it's I've done the tour there probably 5 times myself. It's super interesting. It's narrated by Steve Buscemi. You do the
Oh, hell yeah.
which is pretty rad. But because of their connection, they as a historical site, it's a site of remembrance. So they don't do anything to improve the prison. They just keep up with safety standards, but they leave it there as kind of a monument because some terrible things happen there in a 200-year-old prison, as you can imagine.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
But a necessary evil is they have a haunted house every Halloween season.
Yeah.
And it's, I'd say, a necessary evil because it makes up like 90% of the revenue to keep them open. So they can continue to do the historical tours and also the education aspect where they're talking about modern prison industrial complex.
Yeah.
So I'm basically managing 4 different pop-up bars that are themed in the prison, like around the haunted house.
Okay.
And it's kind of like Warped Tour bar managing. Like there's one water source.
Okay.
There's barely any cold storage, and it's just like showing up and solving problems and trying to operate bars in this 200-year-old historical landmark.
Yeah, I can't imagine they have too many like USB outlets in the walls at the prison.
It's pretty fascinating, and I'm one of the last people there at night, so I'm kind of with a headlamp on, walking down these abandoned hallways in the dark.
Have you ever had any encounters?
No.
Anything creepy?
No. I mean, it's definitely a hallowed ground, whatever that means.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think I err on the side of not. I think the brain's a very powerful thing, and I think group thought is a thing, and I think it could trick you to seeing certain things. So I don't negate anybody who has a really intense story, but I have never experienced anything, and I don't particularly believe in it. But with all that said, I'm walking there, and I'm waiting for the boys to come hang out with me. And I haven't seen anything.
Oh man, were there any like famous people that were prisoners there?
Capone.
Al Capone was there?
Al Capone was there, yeah. He didn't escape from that one, but he was there.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a speakeasy themed around him.
Nice. So what are some of the themes of the 4 bars you got?
So there's like a kind of creepy circusy bar.
Love it.
There's a beer garden, which is the Fair Chance Beer Garden. It's kind of that's built around the education of the prison system today. So that's just not particularly themed around the haunted house.
Yeah.
There's one that's more family friendly. It's like a pumpkin patch thing, but there's like zombie breakdancers that are doing their thing there.
Okay. Yeah.
And then there's a speakeasy, and then also there's a vampire themed one, and it's kind of, we work alongside the haunted house. So there's like 200 actors dressed up, and they they see me 50 times a night running around doing stuff, but at the beginning they didn't realize that I worked there, so they were jump scaring me all the time. It's not my favorite thing.
Hey, I'm trying to figure out this water issue, and you're running up on me with the chainsaw without teeth on it, revving it up.
Yeah, I have trouble connecting with them when they have full makeup on.
Sure. Wait, so are any of are your employees, are they dressed up at all? Like any crazy? Or are they just more
No,
bari?
not really, but I'm definitely one of the few people on the premises that like doesn't really care about Halloween, and the rest of the people are very into Halloween.
Yeah. Yeah. We went to Six Flags in Atlanta last weekend, me and some buddies. And yeah, they had some of the like scare houses or whatever, and they had a Saw one, and it was pretty. I don't mind that stuff, but my buddies I was with, it was like you see those videos of people like freaking out at they were like grabbing the wall, and it was awesome. For me, it was awesome. For them, it was not.
I know I know one of the issues for the performers is getting punched in the face. It happens like a couple times a season. It's like
it's gonna happen.
I assume there's some legality that you sign that kind of separates the parties from being able to do anything
sure
about it. But yeah, I mean, some people react in weird ways.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, it's if I'm fine with that, like jumpy stuff, but if somebody's like touching me, that's the if an actor like has the right to touch me, if I have to sign a waiver for that, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah, nah, man, I don't. I just don't want it. I don't want that. What? But Steady Hands business, you guys are touring down to Fest and back up a little bit.
Yeah. So we're going down to Fest this coming weekend. And we're gonna be popping around the South a little bit, and then I run up to the Midwest for a couple shows with my buddy Eamon from Holy Pintos, doing some solo gigs, kind of.
Okay, Steady Hand stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Steady Hand solo. Okay,
yeah.
Cool. You guys just put out a single, right? Or at Minor Street?
Yes.
When did that come out?
Songs.
Yeah.
I'm sorry?
When did that come out?
Well, a couple months ago now.
Okay.
Yeah, we put out 2 songs. We Minor Street is a recording studio in Philly that we've done a lot at. They're pretty famous. Brian and Amy, who own it, they've done a lot of the war on drugs stuff and Dr. Dog. And
that's cool.
Menzingers, they did a record there.
Nice.
And it's just kind of one of those like it's a studio just with so much vibe. The room's just beautiful, and they just have all this insane old vintage equipment.
Yeah.
And it punches above its weight, kind of in the fact that like a lot of artists will travel to go.
That's cool.
But we've just been. I had a relationship with them.
Yeah.
Outside of the band, so they've kind of been recording us for the entirety of our career, and they're unfortunately having to move the studio. So this is kind of like our last opportunity to go do some songs over there.
Are they going to stay in Philly, or is they going somewhere else?
They're staying in Philly, but
nice.
There was nothing around it when it opened in the neighborhood, and
sure.
Now there's a lot of ugly condos around it.
Oh no!
So it's one of those.
Yeah, I feel that. Ugh. What was there any piece of gear that you got to use on this recording that they had that you're like, fuck, I can't believe they got this crazy thing?
I'm trying to think on this recording. I mean, we've been there enough to kind of play with everything. They have a tack piano there that's kind of a crazy, like it's just a piano with metal tacks on it, but it makes it sound like an instrument from the 1600s.
Like a harpsichord or something, like
a harpsichord.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, and just like the I mean, they have like telefucking mics and crazy stuff. And just like they still use tape, so they'll run it through a tape machine and then run it back out into the console. And the console was used by, I think, Madonna recorded on it, like a bunch of crazy folks, associated with their gear.
Sure.
Well.
Yeah.
But I'm the worst person to talk to out of the band too when it comes to gear.
Not a big gearhead.
No, I mean it probably comes from playing drums. I think the drummer has like the easiest excuse.
Yeah, sure.
And then, yeah, I think it's just always, I'm not really like, I can't say like I'm a super, like when it comes to anything, like purchasing anything.
Yeah,
I'm more so like something I can get quick that's gonna work
do the
and it's
thing.
of good
Yeah,
quality that I can just get to whatever I need to do with it as quick
yeah,
as possible, rather than like sitting on eBay or Music Exchange
yeah,
for months trying to pick out the perfect thing.
yeah. Sitting on a like electric voice, old ass microphone or something on eBay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Uh, so, but you play guitar in Steady Hands, right? And
yeah.
sing. So, what do you enjoy more, or is it like two different babies that you have of like playing drums live versus playing guitar live and singing?
Definitely playing guitar and
Yeah,
singing live. Yeah. Um, I don't know. I think there's more of a freedom to it.
sure,
It's like chilling back there and holding it down. Just because I'm not a technical drummer by any means, so
sure.
I was just there to do a gig. The
Just
drummer's the workhorse.
another gig. Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
you.
and
But
the drummer I play with in Steady Hands, he's like one of the best musicians I've ever been in a room with. So it's kind of, as soon as I saw him play drums, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't need to do that anymore.
hell yeah.
What am I gonna do?
What a great feeling. What a sense
Yeah,
of like relief. Be like, oh,
yeah.
okay.
Like yeah, I don't need to like nervously, spend hours recording a fill when he can
Right.
just do it off.
Do 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 do
Yeah.
do 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 do. Yeah, it's I think some of the like craziest musicians, like talent wise, have been like drummers that are able to switch around to like guitar, and like real proficient drummer that can like, you can pick up a bass or a guitar, and it's just like, oh, this kind of just makes sense to me. I don't know.
I mean, I think there's like when you learn guitar or bass growing up,
Yeah.
like you have to spend a whole lot of time on the rhythm aspect of it. Obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
I think when you're coming from drums, it's like, I mean, it doesn't speak to knowing the notes
and shit. Yeah,
but in terms of the rhythm aspect, that's the easiest thing to transition.
yeah. There's a Prince quote that I love where he said, "Every instrument's a drum." I was like, "Fuck."
Yeah.
Flip that broke my brain. I loved it. But all Bardust, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, you want to tell the people about that might not know about Bardust?
Yeah. So Bardust is Pogue's cover band. I started playing with about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly made up of Philly punks.
Yeah. It's got a friend of the podcast, Tom May, is also in it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's funny. He actually the story goes back way further because when I first met Tom back in the day, and
Sure.
Mobo first started playing shows with the Menzingers, at one point he's like, "Dude, I heard you like the Pogues. Like, I really want to start a Pogues cover band.
Yeah.
Are you in?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, man.
Let's do it."
And then like, just kind of like fell away. Didn't find enough people who were interested.
Sure.
And then recently, a couple years back, one of my other buddies from a different world hit me up, and he's like, "Hey, like, I know you like the Pogues. Would you ever be interested in starting a Pogues cover band?" And I was like, funny enough, I've had this conversation before, and absolutely.
Yeah.
And he immediately got a couple people to agree to do it. Immediately got an accordion player, which I would have
a tough find. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really tough find.
Yeah.
So when that was kind of shaping up, I went back to Tom and I was like, "Remember that conversation we had 15 years ago or 10 years ago?"
I'm ready. Yeah.
I'm ready. Yeah. So it came together, and it's been pretty wild. Me and Tom split singing duties, and it's been incredibly fun learning to sing those songs.
Yeah, got a very unique voice.
Yeah,
it's not just like, you're not seeing a lot of Pogues at karaoke. Pogue songs.
No. Surprisingly, like wide range. I don't. Shane never really gets credit for that.
Yeah.
Like his lower register is really pretty cool.
Yeah.
But just there's so many lyrics in every song.
It's true.
And
Yeah.
not like a normal pop song where, you listen to it, it gets stuck in your head. It's super relatable. Like
Yeah.
to learn these songs, I have to be like, what is he singing about? What,
Yeah.
15th century poem is he referencing? Which Brendan Behan book is he talking about? Like
Yeah.
what's the landmark in Ireland? So it's just really sent me down this hole. And I spent a lot of time over in Ireland, and
Yeah.
I spent some time studying Irish history and culture.
Yeah.
When I was over there, and so it all kind of wraps into itself, which has been really cool. But I've also there's a lot of slang.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
My wife's from England, and I'm up in the office learning the songs, and then just kind of popping downstairs every so often and be like, what does this mean? And can I say this?
Right. Yeah. What is this a horribly offensive thing for me to say?
Yeah. And usually it's no. So
yeah, that's well, our mutual friend's good friend. It's
yes.
always
Sorry.
Sorry, the band good friend. Sorry. Yeah, a little confusing. Sorry. But yeah, just I was tour managing that tour last year when they came through, and we met you up in Philly at Kung Fu Necktie. But yeah, just being around them a lot and learning the slang that they were saying, I was it was just fun. I was I was able to say what's the crack and all that, all that shit. It's it's fun. They Adam came over last month.
Nice.
And we did he played some solo stuff for Red Scare's 20th thing. Yeah, so we did that, and it's fun. It's fun just being in a van with those guys, and it's just just so silly. I love it in a great way. They're great.
It was funny when that show happened, because my buddy who was actually working the door, who I hadn't seen in a while, and as soon as I showed up, he was just cracking up. He's like, I get the guest list submission, and he's like, there's one name on it. And he's like, it's fucking Sean Hebert. You're the Irish punk band. Big fucking
That's great.
Nations. I gotta meet the people when they come.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I don't know if you saw. It's been announced already, but they're opening for the Menzingers in Belfast and in Dublin in April. I
saw that. Yeah, just earlier I saw that. That's
man. It's gonna be sick. I'm gonna go over for that, and it's gonna be sick.
I think my other friends, Chewy, are opening.
On
one of the shows on that tour, and they're from Dublin.
Hell yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah, I'll have to talk to them and punish them.
Yeah,
but
they're good lads.
Yeah, it's fun. Music world is so small and so big. It's so weird. You meet people. I know everybody talks about this, that tours around and travels, but you meet people in weird cities that's you're connected to already by just knowing a small handful of people you run around with. It's I don't know. That's awesome. That's one of the, as you know, that's one of the best things about being a punk touring guy. I
mean, it's funny. I felt like when I was touring less, obviously without Mobo happening, it was such a bummer because I didn't have these paid for vacations.
Right. Yeah.
Working, but I didn't have these excuses to just show up to every major city in the country and just see all the homies.
Right.
And now it's I have to plan these visits to these specific places and try to see as many people as I can during that visit.
Yeah.
And it was so much easier when you're just rolling through, and then you play Fest and every single person's there. Right.
Every punk person you've ever known is at Fest. Yeah. That's so. Is Steady Hands? What's the touring thought behind Steady Hands? Are you guys doing?
Yeah, so we're kind of like we're a bit of a dad band when it comes to touring.
Sure.
Because we all either have a full time job or are in other bands. But we also
Sure.
live in 3 different states,
Okay. Yeah,
which
that's a
is
little tough too. Yeah.
when you're a huge band is very doable.
Yeah.
When you're a small band, it's a lot more logistics.
Sure.
We're not like, oh, we'll all meet in LA to practice, and then we'll start the run from.
Right. Yeah. It's like Alkaline
Like,
Trio can live in different
yeah,
parts of the country.
no, it's like, all right, well, I'll drive to Chicago. You fly from Nashville into Chicago. It's
Yeah.
like playing a one-off show is a feat of
Yeah.
logistics.
Sure. It'd have to be something crazy. Yeah.
But it's obviously worth it. So yeah, we're gonna try to tour more as much as we can.
Hell yeah.
But I come from a pretty privileged place of being an insane amount of people in an insane amount of places.
Yeah.
With Movo, with all the bands I've played in.
Sure. Yeah.
And the amount of time I've gone over to the UK, that I don't mind kind of just popping into these places and playing only a couple shows.
Yeah.
I won't knock on any state in this country because I know there's fine people in every single one of them, fighting harder than I am here in a bluish state.
Yeah.
But I do not need to tour Texas again.
Sure.
I'm not to say I'm never coming back, but it's just that's like 5 days worth of shows.
That's a huge fucking state to drive.
That's not at the top of the priority list, but which still, if there's steady hands fans, hit me up and I'll try to figure out a way.
Yeah, man, we'll have to get you. I know on this run, as you're coming close to Birmingham, Alabama, where I am, and so we'll have to figure.
Okay. That's where you are.
We'll have to figure out a Birmingham show at some point in the near future.
Yeah. Birmingham's rad. I actually like Birmingham a lot.
I love it. It's a great city. Like you're saying, it's like a blue. If you care about politics, it's a blue dot, in a red state. Yeah, but it's just great. I love it here. A lot of cool stuff always popping off, and there seems to be more bands of medium to larger size coming through. So that's fun. Awesome. Like Cake played at the at this brewery up the road, Avondale Brewery, and so bands like that are coming through. And I was working from. We just moved our house, and so I didn't have internet. And I'm a software developer, so I need internet during the day.
Yeah, that's important.
Yeah, and so I went up to there's this place called Saturn, this venue here that has like a coffee bar in it.
Yeah, Saturn's incredible.
Saturn 6, so Saturn.
Yeah.
So I was just sitting there, and I guess Bob Mould played the night before, and he just walked. He was just sitting like right next to me. I was like, okay, that's fucking cool.
I mean, I also love punk bands from the South.
Yeah.
There's something so badass. Like maybe it's like a, blue dot red state thing. Maybe it's just like this weird, like kind of like this legacy of just like dirty Southern rock.
Sure.
It might not sound anything like that, but it's just like, I don't know. I think you're like, you get a little bit more credit if you're a punk band from the South.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's cool because I think and I have a sense of pride whenever I see a comedian or a band get recognition from Alabama. Just because, just in my perspective of touring around. And I bring up oh, I'm from Alabama. Like I grew up in Alabama. I say that to people, and they're like, "What? Like you got I guess people haven't spent any. It's just traveling. People need to travel more. That's when you learn about people and cultures, and as but telling somebody from the Northeast, oh, I grew up in Alabama, you don't sound like you're dumb. You don't have a stupid accent. I'm
yep.
Thanks. Yeah. We got internet down here and running water and toilets inside. It's but that's the exception. That's not the rule. Most people are, when people say that shit. But yeah, it's fun to be like, oh yeah, I'm from Alabama, and they're like, just kind of like flips their brain a little bit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I almost think like traveling a lot, it gives you a bit of a superpower because you're able to just
more
like
perspective on life.
the amount of perspective exactly that you get is just like so much more, and especially like touring musician is like the type of traveling that no one does.
Yeah,
It's not like, oh, I love backpacking, so I've been all over Europe. It's like, yeah, that's one thing, but like literally just going to like every single state, small towns, big towns, like places you just would not have a reason to go to.
Right.
And meeting that many people, I think it is a superpower, and it gives you a bit of, gives you an amount of empathy and perspective.
Sure, 100%.
Few people on this earth have.
100%. But yeah, man, yeah, driving through little cities and stopping at a gas station and meeting like the locals, or going to like a locals bar in some random place, you'll get a lot more out of life, I think.
Yeah, and I've also experienced it because I was selling beer for a number of years, and I was in Philadelphia for the most part, but I was also like working markets.
Sure. Yeah.
In like Centralia, Pennsylvania, like middle.
What the fuck? Yeah.
So I've met all types, and
sure.
I've also experienced like I was working with a guy out in that area, and it was just kind of like I'm feeling him out all day, trying to figure it out.
Sure. What's he about? Yeah.
And then like finally we got lunch at this like real shithole tavern, and they were kind of pressured by the owner to eat there, and I'm a pescatarian. There was nothing
for you.
Yeah, so I would like pierogies and French fries.
Okay.
And I ordered when he was in the bathroom, because we had just switched back and forth. And then when I came back and we were sitting there talking, and the food got there, and he looked at my meal and he's like, "Oh shit, are you vegetarian?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "Oh no, it's all good." But then also we just started talking, and turned out like he was like in hardcore bands.
Yeah, like, dude.
So it was just like Spider-Man meme. I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah. You just never know, dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's all types.
Yeah. That's always a fun, pleasant surprise when you're like, wait a second, you do this thing? You're a professional, indie professional wrestler, but or whatever,
well, with that, it's a bit different because if someone's into wrestling, they'll fucking tell you about it.
Oh yeah, I love wrestling. I'm telling you about it. But yeah, it's like pretty much all parts of like Fest, the comedy, the independent comedian, independent wrestler, independent bands. It's like the same lifestyle if you're touring around. You might play or perform or wrestle to like 10 people, you might wrestle to nobody. You might wrestle, to 100 people and get paid pretty okay.
Yeah, and actually that brings up a funny thing. I went to a comedy gig a couple weeks ago, and it was Chris Gethard.
Oh, nice.
He's playing Fest.
Nice. Yeah.
And talk about Verona, New Jersey from famousbirthdays.com. So he's from the town over from me.
Okay.
So a lot of his comedy is very specifically bullseye on where I grew up as well.
Yeah.
But he actually the house he grew up in was next to my parents' first house.
Oh, wow.
So like they knew him like as this little
kid
running around.
Wow.
And it was only when I was reading his book that and I reached out to him about this, and we talked a bit. Like I was reading it, and I was like, this all sounds really familiar. And
Wait
I gave
a
it to my
second.
mom. And she's like, yes, Gethard boy. I remember him.
The Gethard boy.
Yes.
That's great. Yeah, I remember whenever he was doing his show, I would, his TV show, I would watch that a lot. And he would talk about his time at, was it Strange, Jersey, or some
Weird New Jersey.
Weird New Jersey, yeah. Just listening to him talk about that stuff, I was like, this dude is all in on New Jersey.
Yeah. And it's it is entire country in one state. I mean, it is.
I know you've been in Philly for, you said 15 years. Do you have a Jersey sense of pride still?
I do. Yes, I absolutely do. I'm not moving back there.
Sure.
But yeah, I just people love to rag on Jersey, much like they do Philly. But I honestly think it's the entire country in one state. I mean, you have the beach. You have where I grew up which is like really a suburb of Manhattan for the most part.
Okay.
You have Atlantic City and all South Jersey and all the weirdness there, and then like the Pine Barrens, which is like nowhere else on earth.
What is the Pine Barrens?
It's just like hundreds of thousands of acres of just like weird country forest where like the Jersey Devil is rumored to reside, like creepy shit there.
Yeah.
And yeah, then there's Atlantic City. It's just like there's so many different like, countries in there even. Like it's a strange place, but we're proud of it.
I like it. Yeah, I think, like you were saying, if somebody says they're from Jersey, they're like, that they're like proud. I don't hear a lot of people that I've met from New Jersey being like, oh, I hate it. It's a terrible, or whatever.
Yeah.
Talk real shit about it. And of course, you got Springsteen, which is, is were you growing up in Jersey? Was that like a real legitimate thing? Like he's our white Jesus,
Yeah, it really is. I mean, I actually didn't grow up on Springsteen. I kind of, I found it myself, which I think is kind of the coolest way to discover music.
I think so. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when I started playing in bands, I was in a band with a bunch of guys that lived near Asbury Park.
Okay.
So, a lot of my early show experiences were playing, opening slots at the Pony and the Wonder Ball.
Yeah, that's fucking cool.
To have that, and then also the town I grew up, or the area I grew up, is where The Sopranos all takes place.
Yeah.
And where a couple summers went down the shore were the years that they started filming Jersey Shore. So like all of the stereotypical shit was like exactly my time there.
The time you were hitting it, yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, there's I wasn't super into Springsteen. Like I knew the hits, obviously, just by being a fan of music. But there's this movie called Thunder Road.
Okay.
Do you know this movie?
No.
It's like a dark comedy. But yeah, I watched it on a plane, and it was a great movie. I would suggest watching it. But I was like weeping on the plane because it's one of those, just like fuck, dude, this is such a good story. But yeah, that's how I got more into Springsteen, because I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to Thunder Road, the song, and I was like, fuck, this song is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
And then, you just kind of do a wormhole deep dive from there. Also, I'm a big Elvis guy, and I kind of similar thing happened to me like later on in life. In my like late 20s, I got into Elvis. And so, but there's a cool story of, I can't remember if it was right after Born to Run came out, or like it was when Bruce Springsteen was starting out his career, but he like he hopped the fence at Graceland trying to get like talk to Elvis, but the security, he had security guard. This was like, must have been like 76 or something. Like,
no, they've met, but I don't know. I don't remember that story specifically.
But I just love it. I love. Have you been to Graceland?
No. Memphis? I would love to go.
It's fun.
I'm not a huge Elvis fan, but
sure.
I mean, just like the pop culture of that era.
Yeah.
And I just want to see the Jungle Room.
Yeah, dude, it's awesome.
All this Whitco crazy wood furniture.
Yeah, dude. We Adam Carroll from Good Friend and I, whenever we drove back from the Chicago. We stopped in Memphis and we went to Graceland and did the tour. They have John Stamos as the tour guide on the little iPad.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
yeah,
Good for him.
good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh man. But yeah, another thing, you're like a marathon runner, right?
So I do half marathons.
Okay.
Yeah, but I am
Still more than me. Yeah, half more than me. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a very avid distance runner.
Okay.
And I've been as I've gotten deeper into it the last couple of years, I've been trying to treat it. I have a lofty plan of doing a half marathon in every state.
Ooh, I like it.
So I've been ticking off a lot, and I've been kind of treating it just like kind of like one-off gigs where I'll fly somewhere, get like
Yeah.
a hostel or the cheapest Airbnb I can,
Yeah.
run a race the next day, hang out in the city, and then just come right back and just do like a weekend of it.
Hell yeah.
And I've been able to play some shows around it. So I did. I ran one in New Orleans
Nice.
last year, and I checked to see if any homies would be in town playing
Yeah.
shows. And Fred Maturino, who I know, who plays in Say Anything Now in The Color Fred, and he was in Taking Back Sunday.
Okay.
He's a PA guy, and he was playing fairly close, so I hit him up and
Nice.
ended up jumping on that show the night of the race. So I ran the race and then played a show.
How was that set for you?
That was not too bad.
Okay.
The worst one was what I just did, which was I drove to Chicago.
Okay.
We did a one-off show. We opened for a band called The Matches.
Okay.
At House of Blues.
Nice.
And it was the biggest show we had ever played.
Okay.
And the next morning, I got up at 5:30 a.m. and ran a half marathon.
Ooh, Sean, maniac.
That one hurt way more.
I love that you're making half marathons are already tough enough, but now you're making like your own Sean challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like a weird when you don't tour as much now or travel as much. It's like this kind of crazy, masochistic, it's like, oh, I could still do this. I could like stay at a hostel, wake up the next morning and do this crazy run. Yeah,
we got to squeeze the juice out of the marrow out of this thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. Have you ever, do you know about the Barclays marathon in Tennessee?
No.
Ooh, yeah. There's a good documentary about it, but it's like the hardest marathon. It's more of it's not just a marathon. It's like an endurance event where there's 3 laps, and it's supposed to be based off of the route that. Who was the guy that shot MLK?
Oh,
James Earl Ray? No.
You might be right. It escapes me right now.
I can't remember. It's a 3-name guy, but it was supposed to be the route because he escaped from his prison in Tennessee, and so this is supposed to be based on the route that he did.
Okay.
And it's like this insane endurance race where not a lot of people have finished it. But yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I do.
Or the Moab huge desert race.
I've looked at those. There's one in Vegas. It's like 25 miles outside of Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's like a 10 mile. I think it's 10 miles, and it's like 100 degrees out in the desert.
Yeah.
And you need to have a water pack on, and there's emergency stations every couple miles.
Yeah.
Just because I'm strange in that I love running in the heat and the humidity.
Yeah.
And half marathons are my favorite distance in terms of being able to do it in a time I like, and also I worry about the safety of a marathon in terms of longevity of getting hurt.
Sure, yeah.
A lot of people end up getting hurt. But yeah, I would I definitely see myself doing more stupid shit to say I did it.
Yeah. Is this like a have you always had this kind of like because I have this where I get into a thing and I'm like all in and I'm just doing all the trying to do the most not extreme but like the
Yeah, I mean, definitely in certain ways. I think like there's a lot of people who like get into something and get super deep into it, and then they move on and go to
just
the
move
next.
on. Yeah,
I'm like very much not that. I just kind of I stack them.
sure,
Um,
same. Yeah,
so I'm kind of always like definitely I'm jack of all trades, master of none.
same. Yeah.
And definitely like overextend myself for the shit I film my life
Absolutely,
with.
100%. Yeah,
But yeah, the running is just it's just like one of those funny things that so many rightfully so people just can't stand. But I have that weird thing in me that I love it, and I love the sense of accomplishment
sure. Yeah,
of doing it. So I definitely try to push it as much as I'm comfortable with.
yeah, yeah. So what's your weekly split of running? How's that go?
So I do probably close to 40 miles a week.
Okay.
Um, Usually like around 5 a day most days, and then I'll do like a long one on the weekend. I try like around a 10-miler.
Okay.
Because it's also like, again, with talking about being into a lot of different things.
Yeah.
Like, I don't love running culture. I'm not a runner guy.
The runner club guy. Yeah.
Like, I'm not like I will get on a Ryanair or Spirit Airlines flight.
Yeah.
To New Orleans to run a race
Right.
by myself, but I'm not gonna like make my wife plan our vacations around standing at the finish line and holding my keys to wait for me to do a race, or like not be able to go hang out with friends or work on the house and stuff because I gotta take an ice bath every morning. Absolutely not. I'm not. I'm holding myself to not do that.
Yeah, no, Sean is in his ice bath right now. He cannot be disturbed. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, it's like most things, exercise culture lends itself to being like just another not addiction. Addiction's the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying? Another like thing that like, oh, this is my thing now, and I'm just gonna like, I don't know, like a CrossFit culture type thing where it's like, now I'm an Olympic weightlifter guy,
And I think that's also like, I certainly have friends that are also into running, but like, coming from the background we have I have friends from many walks of life, but like I have a pretty solid community that I don't need to search.
Yeah.
So like, yes, I work in beer, but I'm not. Those are not the only people I hang out with. And yes, I'm into running, but I'm not in a run club.
Yeah.
Like only hanging out with runners.
Yeah.
So I feel
you don't have like you don't have like a term for like non-runners, like some derogatory term that you use for
walkies.
You fucking walkies. You got 2 feet on the ground. You got 1 foot on the ground at at any given moment. You fucking poser. Yeah. Oh shit, I love it, Sean. I think we covered, to go with the running marathon, we've covered a lot of ground, I think, in this short time. Yeah. I got an English degree, Sean. It was like fucking professional book club, but it was still cool.
I mean, I got a film degree and I couldn't get my fucking audio working here. So
there you go. Well, you're a picture guy. You're not a sound guy, so we got that. But yeah, man. I'm gonna plug everything at all your social medias and all that stuff at the intro. But is there anything you want the people to know about? This is gonna come out tomorrow, by the way, before Fest. So.
If you're going to Fest, check us out. We're playing CMC on Sunday. at 450, I think. And yeah, we're just stoked to be able to still be able to do it. And, whether people know me from Mobo or they discover Steady Hands, I appreciate them sticking around. So if there's somewhere we haven't been, even if it's in Texas, and you want us to come, just hit me up.
Yeah, man. Austin's not too far in if you're coming from the east. That'd be.
I know some people in Austin.
There you go. Yeah.
Austin is fast.
Hell yeah. Well, Sean, stay on for a minute after I hit this old stop button. But Sean, you had options and you decided to talk to me, and I appreciate it.
Well, actually, if we can close with this, I was telling my wife I was going to do this, and she asked how you spelled the title because she was hoping it was a sheep themed podcast.
Oh my god, I love that. Shit. Okay, we're gonna pivot the program from now on. We're now sheep themed. Oh shit, I love it. All right,
thanks, I really appreciate it.
Hell yeah, dude. Stay on for a minute, but
cool.
yeah, thanks.